Potato and Sarah. What's up? Bud Files. What's going on? What's up, Skinner? Changing out my wicks and my vapes, my vape mods. So I figured I would go live for a bit while I'm doing it. How's everybody's Monday doing? I know I had a pretty excited Monday. Had a bunch of storms come through. Clarissa, hey. That's good. Glad it's been great. Yeah, I figured that live little storm that I did earlier today would have done a lot better than it did, but I guess people are not into watching storms live. That's okay. Looks like I'm breaking into a pack of tobacco here, but it's just my cotton, strips of cotton that I use. What's up, phone? How's your night going, phone? You drinking some sweet tea? Lindy, what's up? Drinking peach tea? All right. I'm not really a peach kind of guy, but just hanging out right now. I hear you. Yeah, me too. I'm changing my cotton in my vape mods, so I figured I'd go live while I was doing it. Gray hair, yes, drinking is sweet. Fall in love with sweet tea. Man, I tell you what, I do like some good sweet tea. And I don't know if you guys have got a Sonic drive-in around you guys anywhere, but I tell you what, Sonic around here makes the best sweet tea. My goodness. Where are you at in Tennessee, Sam? I forgot. You're north of Nashville. I am south of Nashville by like an hour and a half. What's up, Gabriel? I'm about an hour, right about an hour west of Chattanooga. You have Sonic? Man, I tell you what, if you like sweet tea, the Sonic, I don't know about the Sonics around there, but the Sonics around here, what's up, Vinny? The Sonics around here make awesome freaking sweet tea. I always get that raspberry sweet tea. Above Ridgetop between Springfield and White House. Okay, I know where you at. I know where White House is anyway. Man, we ought to hook up, do some videos or something. I ain't got nothing down here south except for a bunch of cemeteries. I don't know what you got up your way. We ain't got nothing, no abandoned houses, no abandoned schools, no nothing. Because when they around here, when something becomes vacant, they put something right back in there. It don't stay, it don't stay abandoned. Yeah, yeah, nothing stays back vacant, man. I know Florida does. Florida, man, they got all kind of abandoned houses where people claim insurance and they just sit there and they rot. I used to live in Florida many years ago, and a lot of the places where I used to live, there was houses galore, just abandoned. They wouldn't do nothing with them. Damaged by hurricanes and stuff, they just leave them. I know, right, Lindy? And I don't even attempt to go out in the country to try to find some abandoned farmhouse or something because neighbors around there they shoot first and ask questions later. What's up, zombie? How you doing, hon? Yep. And the Vandals, they ruin it for the rest of us. That's what I like to see. Everybody saying hi to everybody. Don't have to choose. Yeah, Lindy, I agree. We are losing a lot of history. Thanks, Gabriel. I appreciate it. There is a place up in East Tennessee, though, up in the mountains that I'm looking at trying to get to. Hopefully before winter gets here, maybe around the fall. Illinois already lost their history. Lindy, you probably know where I'm talking about. It's an abandoned town up there in East Tennessee. Uh, you know where Elkmont is? Yeah. Yep. They also that cemetery up there is on the haunted, deemed to be haunted list. I need to check that out too. I'm gonna try to get up there by around fall. It's a little cooler. Cemetery just a town. Yeah, there's a. I've been doing research on haunted places here in around the Middle Tennessee area, and it keeps Elkmont keeps popping up, and it keeps talking about the cemetery up there being how haunted it's supposed to be, and it's old too. They got a lot of old stuff and old graves in there. May Stringer House, Paranormal TSBI. What's up? Franklin, Tennessee. Man, I heard um what's that battlefield in Murfreesboro? I heard that place is haunted. I'd like to go there. Yeah. Stones River Battlefield. That's what it's called. Yeah, I know. First thing that goes to memory. Stones River Battlefield. Yeah. Shoot, we oughta hook up a date or something and go. Yeah. Right. Right. You guys are just if you guys are wondering coming in, I haven't explained. I have to rewick all my mods, so I figure I'd go live, chat with everybody while I do it. Put some new cotton in them, and I'm losing stuff. Well, shoot, we gotta set something up. I heard that prison that's right outside. I think it's in West Nashville. That they, yeah, I'm afflicted too. um, the Tennessee State Prison, and it's in West Nashville. I think it's the one that they used for the Green Mile. I don't know if you can get in there or not, but I know they got a big fence around it. Um, I heard it's supposed to be haunted too. I don't know if you could get in, and I don't know who to get in touch to find out how you could get in or not. Got one done. It's off limits as far as I know. I got told when tornadoes came through. Yeah, I read. I was doing research, and that prison came up, and it. I think I remember seeing something in there about it being off limits, but I think there's been several people that have gotten in there, and I don't know how they got in there unless they know somebody and got the hookup or paid off. That's usually how it goes. You got to know somebody and grease their palms a little bit. You can get in places. Yeah, probably have to sign waivers and all that other good junk. I'm working on it, phone. I am. It's either been too hot or it's been raining. Like this morning, I woke up and I had made plans. Well, I didn't make plans, but I had I was wanting to go and to that one cemetery I was telling everybody about in another city, and I got an alert as soon as I rolled out of bed on the weather thing saying tornado watch out, and I was like, "What? Huh?" So I got to looking at the radar, and I seen all that crap coming this way, and I was like, "Okay, well, not today." And then, of course, to do it at night, I've got to go by the local PD and let them know what I'm doing, so people don't see my lights in the cemetery and call the law on me, which that will probably happen anyway. Yeah, the weather's been weird. At Super El Nino, we've got. I was been checking in on the weather, and I heard we're supposed to have a warmer winter than we've had in quite a while. So we'll see. Indiana's bipolar. Crossover. What's up, buddy? How you doing tonight? Extreme. Good, just hanging out at the house. I hear you. Did y'all get any weather over there today, crossover? I know it was all headed east when it was leaving here today. I didn't know if it petered out before it got to you, or if you got some of it, or I am drinking. It's Body Armor Cherry Lime. Stormed around lunchtime. That's about when we got a good one. I did my live stream, and I don't know what it was. It was around lunchtime, 11, 12 o'clock. I went out and filmed it, done a live stream on it, and I tell you what, the wind was rocking and rolling when it come through here. And I mean, it was my car was sitting there bouncing around. I ain't felt wind do that. He's drinking water from pretty much. That's about what it is. Flavored water. I ain't felt a vehicle bounce around like that since I was driving a flatbed truck. out west, and we had a storm come through. And I tell you what, if I hadn't had no weight on my flatbed, it would have probably flipped me over. As a matter of fact, I had just left. There's a steel yard, I think, up in Indiana somewhere outside of Indianapolis. And I had picked up a great big roll of coiled steel, and I was headed out west with it. And stopped over at a truck stop, not a truck stop, but a rest area for the night. So I was out of hours, and a big old storm come through. I think I was down in Oklahoma when that happened. Super Sport. I tell you what, I could sure tell you some stories. I flatbed for probably about probably about 8 months. And I went up to Wisconsin. This was during the winter time. I went up to Wisconsin to pick up some flat steel at a steel yard. And this big front end loader deal had the forks on it. He was loading it on the truck, and it was so cold when it was time for me to throw my straps and my chains. When he backed out and was headed out, I stepped in where his tire marks were at, and it had done froze over. When I threw the strap, I slipped, and my feet passed my head, and I busted my head on the ground, buddy. And wasn't long after that, I went to doing box trucks. The second time I busted my head in the wintertime. I said, nope, no more. I'm going to box trucks. Then that's about the way it works. All right, Gabriel. And that's about the way it works. You get them in a convoy like that, and in the wintertime, you got you a leader. And if that leader's going, everybody's going. Snowstorm, rainstorm, because I'm gonna tell you what, when it's raining, you can't see jack crap out of a truck either. Thank you, Fawn. Appreciate it. I'm trying to keep up with the chat with them when I'm while I'm doing this. I tell you what, though, truckers they stand together. That's one thing I got to give them. They stand with each other and stand together. That's The only thing I didn't like about driving, I wished I could have went, you know, and had my own truck. Because if you're a company driver, those companies they govern their trucks to like 65, 70. Well, when I was driving, it was 65, and it sucked. It sucked big time. Yeah, yeah, you're right there. But yeah, the companies they govern their trucks, and you can't. You're either in the way or all the time. Yeah, it is. And I'm gonna tell you what, those cattle haulers, them bad boys will rock and freaking roll. If you could ever get behind one of them, if your truck wasn't covered, you can get anywhere you wanted to go. But you don't want to be in front of one though and slowing them down because they will give you the devil. Now, I got in front of one time and he couldn't get around me and I couldn't go no faster and I was already going. Pretty much told me to move it or lose it. Yeah, that's it. Move it or lose it. He didn't give me too hard of a time because he knows I was driving for a company and they're governed, so he didn't give me too big of a what for. Yeah, right. But I enjoyed it, man. I miss the scenery, the traveling. I was out 2 weeks and come home for 2 days and back out for 2 weeks. Had to stop driving though because of my lower back. I bet it is worse now. Well, let's see. When I stopped driving, it was back in, let's see, been 17 years since I've been on the road. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I'm telling you what. I had to drive through. There's one tunnel that goes underneath the water when you get up around where's that, Maryland and Washington and all that. Man, no, I hated that with a passion. Yeah, probably did, Lindy. That and trying to deliver at a freaking airport too. I hated that with a passion. I tell you what, I got so messed up trying to find my delivery, my drop at an airport. I don't know if the directions wasn't coming through clearly enough for me or what, but I could not find where they was wanting me to go. And I had to back out, not back out physically with the truck, but I had to go back outside of the airport to a parking lot. And there was a guy that come and picked my load up, and I picked up an empty trailer of his because he was from that area anyway. Yeah, exactly. It is. Man, I tell you, I did too. I hated. They had to. They put me up in New York one time, and there's no way. I mean, it's like all one way streets up there, and I had to back into this one place, and I tell you what, it's nerve wracking. All these cars around. What's up, Dragon? And it was snow on the ground too. No, no, I'm not babysitting Bella tonight. Probably won't see her for a while. School started, and my son's working too, so yeah, school's gone back in session, and he works on the weekend, so he tries to drop by here every once in a while on Sunday for a few hours before he has to. There's another one down. Wintertime was always hard for me, man. I just it was one time when I was still driving flatbed. Um, that's when I had to go to New York and drop a load. And I come out of New York. Well, I come out of part of New York and found me a little pull off area, like a little, wasn't really much of a rest area. It more or less like a little nap type spot. They didn't have no bathrooms there. It was just a little pull off. So I pulled off there waiting for my next load to come in. They called me in my next load, and I'm telling you what, when you ain't got nothing on the back of that skateboard, you will jackknife a truck quick if you ain't careful what you're doing. Rosa's doing good. I had her up here on a live stream whenever I done my last one. She was up on it. She got a kick out of that. Yeah, and skateboards ain't nothing to mess with in the wintertime. Plus, you driving on super singles. I don't know if you know what that is, Lindy. But super singles, instead of, okay, you know your drive axles, 2, 4, 6, 8, your 8 wheels in the back. Instead of having 8, you got 4. So instead of 4 wheels on each drive axle, you've got, yeah. Supposed to be better traction on the snow, but I don't know about all that. They ain't no good if you get a flat. I know that because that one tire goes down on that one side of the drive axle, you're done. Ain't no limping it to a truck stop to get it fixed. You're down on the side of the road until help comes to change it. But you know, everybody's got their preference. Some people love the super singles, and some people didn't. Your old schoolers, what's up, B? Your old schoolers now, they didn't like super singles at all whatsoever. They wouldn't have a truck with super singles on it. I drove I'm trying to think, it was either 379 or 389 Peterbilt. All black. Yeah, it really is because, like I said, you have a blowout on that one side, you're down. You know, at least when you got those double tires, you could at least use that one to limp it to at least a truck stop or something somewhere if you're close to one. Your dad work for Peterbilt? Cool. He probably did. I tell you what, I love a Peterbilt. Those 379s and 389s with the long nose on them. All leather interior. Oh, you was in the Navy? I was in the Navy. I was stationed in the Pearl Harbor. Yeah, I loved it. I wished I could have retired. Yeah. Well, see, I started out in sub school. I wanted to be a submariner because I thought submarines were cool, right? Well, you know what happens when you don't do your research? I got up there. Groton, Connecticut is where I done my sub schooling at. Well, part of it anyway. Yeah, I am. Well, little do I know, like I said, when you don't do your research, those things are super compact. I'm talking about the alleyway. When when somebody's walking in the opposite direction, you have to turn sideways to pass each other. And I didn't like that idea. Nor did I like the idea of having to sleep on torpedoes or hot racking. I don't know if any of y'all know what hot racking is, but hot racking sucks. I'll give y'all a little bit of Navy schooling here. Hot racking is when, I really did. When they give us a tour of that submarine, you gone, phone? Have a good night, phone. When they give us a tour of that submarine, and I realized that some people have to sleep on torpedoes on top of them and have to hot rack, being in a tight place like that as well, I changed my mind real quick. But anyway, hot racking is where if you're on watch, okay, you're on your shift, a guy's sleeping in the rack, and when it's his turn for watch or his shift, then he comes out and then you go in it. So you're sharing a rack with somebody. I didn't like that idea. Plus, you got to figure you're down for 90 days at a time, no air. You don't see daylight for 90 days. So I decided right then and there, submarines are not for me. So I got out while getting out was good. Yeah, that's what I said. Screw that. So that's when they sent me to the surface fleet, and they give me my choice of duty station. And Hawaii was my first pick, and I think Norfolk was my second, and I can't remember what my third was. And I wound up getting Hawaii. I wound up getting Pearl Harbor. So I was proud of that. Daddy worked in the engine room. I don't know how he did it. Oh yeah, ship's engine room is freaking hot. Uh, when I went to the surface fleet, um, I was I went to be a deck seaman, and that's where you do everything. You work on the deck, you maintain the deck, you're sanding, you're priming, you're painting, and all other kinds of stuff. It's basically the dirtiest job that you could get, probably outside the engine room. Um, I did all my qualifications. I became Master Helms, Master Lee Helms, Master of the Watch, uh, Master After Steering, everything that I could master as far as the deck seaman, I mastered it. I got all my quals done. So like anytime we had a special evolution that went down, say like we was taking on fuel, which when you take on fuel, you do it out there in wherever you're at, you're in the ocean. I was master helmsman. I was steered the boat. And I tell you what, when you master aft of steering, which aft of steering is down in you're below the water line in the bottom of the boat. That's where they do the steering in case the steering went out in the wheelhouse. You have to steer it manually from down there. That was the most scariest, coldest place to ever be because you're down below water line. But I mastered it. So once I got that done, I had an option. Well, I had two choices that I wanted to do. I could either test out of being a deck seaman and go to MS, which is mess specialist, which is cook, or I could go to the gunner's department, and that's where you load all the 5-inch shells for the 5-inch guns, forward and aft. If anytime we was out at sea and we had to board another ship, which are like the tankers that carry all the big metal boxes that you see on trains, and sometimes truckers carry them. Sometimes we have to board ships like that. I would be able to board it. I'd be armed, and I'd board it, clear it, make sure it was good to go. They was carrying what they was carrying, and nothing illegal. And then we'd come back. But a couple of petty officers had a problem with me testing out of becoming leaving the deck. They wanted me to be a bosun's mate. I didn't want that. I didn't want to be a part of the deck crew anymore. I was done with it. Even though me being a bosun's mate, third class petty officer, I'd have been kind of like a boss type. The deck wasn't for me. I didn't want to be a deck seaman. He from San Diego, and he loves pointing out the. Shoot, I've probably forgotten most of the parts. I don't have good memory anyway, and that was back in '92. When I went in. We had a couple of petty officers that didn't like the idea of me trying to test out and go to a different division because they wanted me to be a bosun's mate, and I didn't want to be a bosun's mate. So I hung in there for a while. And I guess kind of in a way it was God's will, because I got a letter from home. My mom was sick, had cancer, and they was, Dad, she had to quit her job. Dad was the only one working, and they couldn't pay the bills. So I got a hardship to go home to help out, get a job and help out. Got an honorable discharge. It ain't what I wanted, but like I said, I wanted to retire. I loved being in the Navy. I loved my home port, which was Hawaii. Traveling to different countries. I done one tour in the Persian Gulf back after all that crap went down. Saddam Hussein was threatening to shoot down one of our surveillance planes, and we had to head over to the Persian Gulf. That place is nasty, let me tell you. Yeah. I'll tell you what, when you could tell we was entering different waters because when we started to come through, when we was entering the Persian Gulf, man, you'd find dead sheep, goats, because they would transport these animals. When they have one die, they just throw it overboard. And we was told not to fall in the water because if we fell in the water over there, we'd have to get like 12 different kinds of shots. That's how nasty that place is over there. And see, that being a deck seaman, that was part of our job, was hanging over, sanding the sides of the ship, priming it and painting it. Holy cow. No. I'd freak out. Yeah, it is creepy. Imagine how bloated those bodies would be. Golly, Bill, on the verge of exploding. A wave hit it the wrong way and it'd just be like pop. The scariest part was being over there. Okay, when we got to the Persian Gulf, we had a box. We had to stay in and patrol, right? Yeah, true. Um, we had a patrol box. You know, it was like 100 yards or longer, 1,000 yards or something. I can't remember, but it was a box that we had to just slowly patrol back and forth all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the scariest part is these Iranian gunboats or Iraqi gunboats would come, within eyesight, trying to get at us. And I was on an Aegis class cruiser, and we carried 2 helicopters on board. And there was a couple of times we had to send our helicopters out to have them stand down. We had 50 cal machine guns, 2 mounted on the bow, 1 on each side, and then 2 aft. Yeah, we got. Trust me, the whole time we was there, we got hazard pay for it, so I wasn't complaining none. Extra few $100s every month. We spent Christmas out there. I know that. call home to tell your parents Merry Christmas, and they're asking where you're at, and you can't tell them because it's all classified. Plus, you can't tell them because you're using kind of like satellite phones, and we have to wait for a certain amount of time for the satellite to come in the area. We had a certain window, and you know, the Iraqis or Iranians or whatever, they would probably be listening in. So when they ask where you're at, you're like, well, can't really say. Don't know where we're at. Floating around out here in this big old ocean. But that's all part of it, though. It's what you sign up for. Lost my top. Oh, here it is. Couldn't find my top. Stuck on a med cruise in the early 70s. Somewhere we lost a dang nuke, and he was part of the launch trying to find it. The USSR was right there trying to get it too. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, that's the way it was for us. Oh, well, we're not going to be over there long. Wound up being over there for like 10 months. Well, I wouldn't say 10 because you got to figure the time it takes you to get out there, and then the time it takes to get back to port. All right. Got them all done. Didn't take long. About an hour to do 3 mods. Yeah, and see, here's the thing about it too. When you go into these other countries, they have rules that you have to go by, right? Like when we was finally able to leave the Persian Gulf, we had to we pulled into this little place there in Iraq, Bahrain. We pulled into Bahrain to port, and a lot of us, if we didn't have watch or a shift to do, then we was able to go in and take in the sights and everything else, which was cool. But like I said, they got so many rules that you have to abide by. Like over there in Bahrain, you're not allowed to take pictures in public. They will take you in for it, which is crazy. It's like when we pulled into Yokosuka, Japan. They have beer vending machines on the sidewalks, right? You can buy it, but you can't get caught drinking it down the sidewalk, on the sidewalk. You can't chew chewing gum in public. I think it's either in Bahrain or in Yokosuka, Japan, where we was at. you could, one of the two places you couldn't chew chewing gum in public. You get taken in for it. I know. And see, a lot of these places, you're only there for a few days. You're there to fuel up, get your groceries, and then, check out. And if you get taken in somewhere, you're there until they can, until the government can send somebody back after you. They're like, they're strict. I mean, the government's strict. If you get, they give you the rules, and if you get caught breaking any of them rules, it's like, okay, we'll see you when we see you. Yeah, exactly. These times and days now, man, you can't. It's hard to travel outside of the country. It's scary. Yeah, it is. All right, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. It's a little over an hour. What's up, Paul? Yeah, exactly. Karen's and Kevin's everywhere. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. It's been a blast. Thank you all for showing up. Lindy, Beat, Skinner, Paul, a few others that I missed coming in. Bud Files. I know Potato was one. Fawn was one. Eli was one. Dragon was one. But anyway, thank you all for showing up and hanging out with me tonight. And Lindy, DM me or something, and see if we can't get something put together here soon, before wintertime anyway. Appreciate all the support and the love that you guys give me. Love you guys. Peace.